Welcome to Exchange Rates UK TV. It is Thursday, the 14th of January 2021. Looking at the pound yen today. On the weekly chart, take note that as we move up higher, it's going to be pretty tough. So on the right side here, we have the volume profile. Sometimes it's called TPO, depending on the charting software you use, whether it's Market Analyst or Optima, you get a little bit more detailed. But we're looking at volume at price analysis. So this indicator on the right tells us how much of something was traded at a particular price level. And that's important because that provides us with a good visual clue to where participation has been at a certain price. It lets us know some natural support and resistance levels. And as we're looking at the pound yen here at 141.92, you know, the volume profile gets pretty, it remains pretty thick. It actually technically gets a little thinner as we move higher, which is good to know. But in the meantime, as we progress, it's harder for prices to move higher here than it is to move lower. Notice down below how thin it is, and even if we zoom out even further, the volume profile is quite thin below 127.81. Not suggesting we go there. In fact, where we're at is a pretty strong support zone, but if we do move higher, if we zoom in, there's a good amount of resistance to any higher prices. And take note of 146.53. If prices do trade higher and they break out above, we should expect to see a really nice move higher. Why? Because the volume profile gets pretty thin. And if you're unfamiliar with how this works, basically what you want to look for, we call these high volume nodes and low volume nodes. So this is a high volume node, this is a high volume node, and this is a high volume node. High volume nodes represent areas of support and resistance. Now the theory is, and how you trade it, is when, for instance, if price breaks up higher, because this volume profile over here is so thin, I call it a volume desert. Price acts like, it behaves like it's being sucked up like a vacuum, so it should shoot up very fast. That is what we would typically see. So expect in the short run, until we break, we'll just say the 147 level, until there is a clear break of that on the weekly chart, expect it to face a lot of difficulty moving higher. On the daily chart, you can see just kind of some trudging along here. The RSI and the composite index, very flat. Little danger on the short side here. We do have a rising wedge going on here. And yeah, personally, these are my favorite patterns to trade. Wedges are just signs of extremity and signs of things being overdone. Does that mean it's going to correct south? No, but just be aware that this pattern here is indicative of some potential violent moves to the south. And take a look at the RSI and the composite index for evidence of that breakdown to occur. Because currently, what we have going on here, you can barely see it, is there is a slight higher high in the RSI, whereas there is a slight lower high. And there's still about 4 hours left in the trading session here. So, you know, if price stays where it's at, or if it closes a little lower, we are going to have we're going to have a regular bearish divergence on the pound yen's chart, which means it is very, very likely, given the neutral kind of levels we're at, that we could see prices drop pretty precipitously. So just be aware of that. Be on the lookout. On the shorter term, let's take a look at the 4 hour. 4 hour, kind of a mixed bag here. I would be looking out mostly here for the lagging span on the 4 hour chart. I would be looking at seeing where this guy goes. So here's the lagging span. If that drops down to here below the cloud, that would be a short opportunity that I would be looking at on the 4 hour chart. So be aware of that. And this is one of these things where Ichimoku system is very peculiar in how it operates, but it's very likely that we could see the lagging span kind of drift or kind of almost act like a magnet towards this level here. If the lagging span starts to trade lower, or price starts to trade lower, and we start to see the lagging span kind of go right towards this Kumo twist here, watch out, because once it breaks below that south, usually prices do the same. I mean, we would see a pretty fast drop. So just be aware of that. There's good it's easier to move short than it is to move long here. So just be very careful. Really, across all these forex markets right now, just be very, very wary as things are progressing and they are forming up. So again, thank you for watching. From those of us here at Exchange Rates UK TV, don't forget to subscribe and like, and I look forward to speaking with you in our future videos.